Hey, what's up guys? Wood here of Wood's Custom 78, and today I finally take you with me on a full review of one of our most recent customs, a Honda TMX155 2012/13 model. So let's get into this, shall we? Alrighty, so let's talk about specs first about this mini beast. It is a 4-stroke air-cooled single-cylinder 155cc motor. Now I know that doesn't sound like much, but it does pack about 12.5 horsepower, probably when it came out of factory. And with the modifications that our customs garage did, I think we're pretty close to that once again, as we've overhauled quite a few parts of this engine. It's also regarded as one of the Carabaos of mountain riding here in the Philippines, so you know it has enough power. You'll often find this on locations up in the bukid, which is like the jungle locations, where you'll have a couple boards attached to the side and it can carry up to 6-8 people, so it becomes a people carrier. My point is, this little motor is plenty strong enough to take you anywhere you need to go. Alright, so on to the custom parts that make this bike not just good as new, but in my opinion better all around. So we put on new set of tires, which is like a new pair of shoes on a ride. These are still the original 17-inch type of rims, but we obviously replaced them with these nicer racing rims and re-spoked it. Put on some fatter tires, all-terrain, kind of dual sport tires. They're 17-inch still, but they're 2.5, so you've got that nice bit of extra grip and looks. We extended the swing arm by about 2.5 to 3 inches, as you can see here. And what that meant was that as the bike has been lengthened by that distance, it also raises it up. And so we've had to get a higher rear suspension kit for it, which then seats and mounts the nice new seat that we custom built for the bike, which in my opinion actually creates a much more comfortable riding experience. Now the original cushion of these bikes were really comfy. But if you want this type of look, you'll have to kind of maybe lessen some of the comfort just for the style, but we still tried our best to try to keep this as comfortable as possible. It is still a 2-seater, so we put on new pegs, repositioned them, because as you can see, we put on a custom exhaust, which not only makes it look better and sound better, but actually perform better. We placed on it a custom wrap onto the exhaust. On this motor here, final touches, we hid the battery inside this own compartment, underneath the seat, kind of incognito, and we added, as you can see here, a little stylistic feature, a little mushroom air filter for the carb. So we put on a new rounded headlight to keep with that classic Scrambler look and feel. We put a new set of signal lights and tail lights with that mean looking grille. The front forks are still original. We transformed the handlebars, so you've got this nice Scrambler higher, more comfortable feel. Replaced the mirrors. And so we also replaced the grips just to make it a little bit more in keeping with the style and a little bit more comfortable. Changed the speedometer to something a little bit more classic and all analog. So another customization we added to add to the overall lines and feel was we customized the fenders front and back and mounted the new bullet type of rear lights and signals onto this bike, just to give it that complete classic Scrambler look. And that pretty much sets up the main body of this motorbike. So we've also converted the electrics from AC to DC. So this engine has been fully overhauled. We've replaced the valve intake, the rocker switches, rocker arms. When you buy an old bike, you've got to factor in some of these overhaul issues. Something specifically that's been potentially a workhorse, you know, maybe it's had a sidecar or it's been used up in the mountains as a skyway with like 10 people at a time, then you really must check that not only do you make it look nice, but it must run as good, if not better. And that's our goal here at Wood's Custom 78, is that anything that we build is not only as good, but is better than how it came in and better than the original. We kept the original tank, just refurbished that. It is an economical ride. It's great for the city and great for that little bit of off-road adventure, should you wish to have it. So let's go move on to the riding experience of this mini beast. Right, on to the riding experience. First, I want to start off with this. I'm probably not your average size guy riding a Honda TMX155. I'm 6'4", I weigh over 100 kilos, so I put some weight and size on this bike. But I've got to let you know, it's actually a really comfortable ride. Now, I'm sitting right on the back of this seat, you've got this comfortable grip and position as you take this bike for a ride. Now, if I have a second rider, that's a taller guy, this is what it looks like. A little more uncomfortable. So, you know, if you are a bigger person, consider that if you're always gonna have somebody on your back. But if you don't, surprisingly, this little mini beast is plenty good enough to take you in a comfortable position. And it's got kind of like that cool Steve McQueen vibe to it, which I absolutely love, which was the original vision for this build. I've had about a month to really trial it out, iron out all the wrinkles, and give it a good feel. I've taken it all over our city here in Davao. I've ridden with it to Samal Island with my wife on the back, climbed up some of the mountain locations, and every single time this bike has done more than I expected. It's truly been a fantastic ride. It's comfortable to ride, comfortable to sit on. You can sit on it for a longer period of time and you have absolutely no problems riding it. It is super fuel efficient. So riding this thing will really give you a lot of fun and experience as you go. And plus the sound is pretty awesome. And I've got to say, in this growing city where you have just so many cars and so many people coming, having a motorbike is the answer. So riding style-wise, you may not get to 130 kilometers an hour, or maybe not even 120. I have pushed it, I have got over 100 kilometers an hour on the motorway, and to be honest, you don't need to, but it can get you to that speed and comfortably cruise at 100 kilometers an hour. I know many of you folks want to know how fast can this thing go. I'm not a speedster. I just want to make sure I get to places safely and with enjoyment. What this bike does have, however, is a lot of lower power torque. So the power band on this bike is pretty much on your get-go. First and second gear, you have a lot of torque to climb up any mountain or to get off fast enough off of a start. So what more do you need? One of the things I want you to be aware of, however, on this bike is the braking system. It does only have drum brakes for the front and rear. So if you're used to riding with a fully modernized ABS, locking system, a modern braking system, then you're not going to have the same experience on this. You have to drive with your eyes wide open and drive with the mindset of thinking, okay, I'm going to need to have a little longer stopping distance. Because when you pull on these brakes, it is not a disc brake, so it takes a little bit more time for you to get to a stop. So just one of my biggest warnings about these older bikes, especially those with drum brakes, is that you ride anticipating the traffic and riding defensively. I've got to say, I absolutely love riding this bike. The feel, the sound, because of the lengthened swing arm, the overall length of the bike has given it more stability when you're riding. So when you're cruising, it just feels more stable and you feel like you have more control. It isn't a fully off-road capable bike, and it isn't just a fully road capable bike. It's a little bit of both. So really, in my opinion, if you're in the Philippines, a bike of this caliber and this nature and this style of build, if you're into these classics, is everything that you would need to get you anywhere you want to be. This is Woods Customs 78 here in Davao City. And if you'd like to know more, comment on the links below. Don't forget to like our page, subscribe to our channels. And if you have any builds that you would like for us to build on your behalf and partner with you to see that vision come through, then send us a message. Check us out on Facebook. And let's together build. Because remember, life is better when you build stuff, not just when you buy stuff. This is Wood, signing out for now, and I'll see you later.